Hey, good morning. My name is Ryan, and I wanted to make a video this morning about how my interest in scorpions saved my life. And that may sound odd to a lot of you. I know how most people react to arachnids, but I had a different experience. I wanted to share that this morning. There was a point I was living in Austin, had a girlfriend, wanted a pet dog, but we really were too busy to take care of one. So I got another pet tarantula. I'd had one in high school. And I got a pet tarantula from this pet store in Austin with a really knowledgeable guy who ran the invertebrates part of the store. And I'd go in and ask him a bunch of questions. Well, eventually he sent me to this website called Arachnoboards, where I started learning a lot more and started learning about scorpions and myropods and true spiders and all of that stuff. They had a buy-sell trade section, and I decided I wanted more tarantulas and realized that I could go buy a black light flashlight, a pair of reptile feeder tongs, and go out and collect scorpions near me in Austin to trade for more tarantulas, which I did. Then I got interested in scorpions and all the other critters. So while I'm out looking for tarantulas and scorpions, I'd find a centipede and take it home with me. I'd find a jumping spider and take it back to the house. And I ended up with a giant collection. At one point I had 8,000-ish scorpions, I had a dozen tarantulas, I had hundreds of millipedes, I had a dozen centipedes, I had vinegaroons, camel spiders, tailless whip scorpions, you name it. I had all the critters, all the arachnids. And I bred them, I sold them, I traded them, I sent them to museums so they could fill holes in their collections. I'd send them to scientists so they could do research on them. I gave them to teachers so they could use them in their classroom. And eventually, I had to get rid of my entire collection, and me and my ex broke up. And I hit the road, and it was kind of a dark time in my life. I quit drinking, I quit using drugs, and was just kind of bumming around the United States, trying to find a reason to live. And I started collecting arachnids again, and traveled all over, went to all these beautiful places and met lots of cool people. And people are a lot more friendly when you're out doing something interesting than if you're just sitting on a sidewalk doing nothing. And there's a community online of people who are interested in these things, and there's some great people. And I got introduced and know a lot of scientists involved with these critters, which was a neat experience. And it gave me something to focus on. It gave me meaning, and it gave me enough money to get down the road to the next spot, try to look for some more. But when I was in my darkest spot, it was my interest in critters, in arachnids in particular, the community, the meaning, the focus, that pulled me out of my darkest spot in my life. And I'll always be grateful to the community and to the arachnids themselves. They're neat animals. They really are amazing. So this all ended up leading, there's scientists that I go and meet up with and go looking for critters with sometimes. It's been a while, but it happens. And one of those times was with a guy named Rich Airy. Rest in peace, Rich. God bless you. Rich was a oncological nurse in northern Arizona, in Flagstaff and the Navajo Nation, for for decades. A really, really pleasant individual, a good man, who happened to study arachnids in his free time and would write. He's written a lot of the papers. A lot of the science we know about American scorpions comes from Rich Airy, a cancer nurse, who did it on his free time for free, with no degrees in entomology or arachnology or anything like that. And he contributed a lot to our understanding of American arachnids. He came to a very intelligent conclusion that all of these sky islands have their own species because they've been separated from the other similar habitats for millions of years. And so he took me to one of them, Mount Graham in Arizona. It's where the Vatican has their telescope. And outside of Safford, Arizona. And but he was in his 80s at this point, moving a little slow. And he needed somebody to help him look for this species. And that was kind of what I was doing anyway. And I was, in my 30s at the time, so I went up and found them, and so we got a bunch of them, and then we ended up going our own ways, and I didn't even know come a little later, but come to find out he named the species after me. So Pseudo-Euroctonus morii is named after me. And my name is in the description of the paper. I get to live on forever in the world of scorpions, and it's super neat. It's really an honor. I did put a lot of effort into helping a lot of scientists get the material that they needed to do their work, and that not only made me feel good, but it helped out other people who, it's not always easy to say, I need 10 Centroides vittatus from down on the border in an area where nobody lives and there's nothing down there, and I need somebody to go down there for not a lot of money and go get these so I can study why they're slightly different than the other ones. It's hard to find people like that. I was willing to do it. And I'd hitchhike, I'd ride a bike, and ride out into the desert and go find what they needed. So I did earn it, but it's still a great honor, and I'm thankful to Rich and the community in general, because it's a great community of people who are interested in arachnids. I think it takes a special kind of person to look at a giant spider that's in a threat display and go, wow, what a beautiful, amazing creature. Most people would be terrified. But if you can step back from our built-in fears, the things that we're taught as children to be scared of, and you step back from that and go, Mom wasn't a tarantula expert. Maybe I need to look at these a different way. And you talk to other people and you hear their stories, and then you interact with them and you're holding them. I've held the world's deadliest scorpion. I've held brown recluse. I've held black widows in my hands, and willingly, not like they jumped on me and they were just there. I picked them up and put them in my hands, because they're not the monsters that we're taught they are. There's no small venomous predator. Venom is a complex protein. It's hard to make. It's very expensive biologically. They want it so they can eat. They don't want to be biting big giant animals that are cramming their hands into their hidey hole, or stepping on them. They would rather not. They don't want to waste their venom. So be cool. Don't scare them. And you can let them walk on you. A black widow is not interested in biting you. Don't scare it. You'll be fine. And so it was just, all in all, it was an amazing experience. And I've got a black light with me now, and I plan on getting some scorpions this spring. We'll see which ones I get to where they go. But it's a neat creature. And scorpions are one of my favorites. I really like scorpions. And I think everybody else should too. At least respect them. They're cool little animals. And we could learn a lot from them. Anyway, thanks for tuning in on how scorpions saved my life. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like, share, subscribe, and I'd love to hear some comments, questions, bad jokes, suggestions for videos, all the above. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate everybody watching. I really do. Rest in peace, Rich Airy, and God bless everybody.